My name is Antonio Bacon, and I work for the Karen Lewis Exploratory Committee.
Candace Moore. I work with the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights and the Illinois Council Against Handgun Violence.
Brianna Tong. I'm with the Iron Student Network.
Marissa Liebling. I am with Change Illinois and the Just Democracy Coalition.
Jennifer Mashori. I'm the Executive Director of Young Invincibles.
Both my organizations focus on policy and on empowering people to speak out in their communities about issues they care about. With the Chicago Lawyers Committee, we really serve as advocates, but we also try to use some of the skills that we have as advocates and the information that we get to really empower communities to speak. In that capacity, I work specifically on education issues in the civil rights context. In my other organization, we work on issues of handgun violence and, again, empowering people, working with the community, getting information and sharing that. So this really seemed like a great place to be, especially because it focuses on young people, which both issues definitely impact greatly.
Well, my organization felt that it was very important to participate in this event because we do a lot of work with voter registration and organizing young people. And since this is a convention for young people, it just seemed to mesh perfectly.
It's for a couple of reasons. One is that it's just really important we do policy work, so to hear from diverse communities throughout the state, and especially to hear from young people directly. And their voices are so often overlooked in the political process, and they have good ideas and certainly deserve a say in the process. And it's also because, again, we're doing work to try to advance rights throughout the states, and these rights can directly affect young people. And so I think to go ahead and promote what we're working on, and it's a good chance to get the word out.
We wanted to hear from young people directly about the issues that they were facing and also the policy solutions they had. So we work on a range of policies already, but we want to make sure that we're hearing from young people to hear about how those policy issues impact their lives, what ideas they have for change, to make sure the work we are doing is actually reflecting what the needs are.
We feel really strongly about building a youth movement and about building power with young people who are really serious about seeing our values in the world. I've been organizing with the Iron Student Network for 2 years now, and I've really learned the community organizing skills that people who have been doing this for years are teaching and using, right? So we're really serious about getting young people trained and ready and out in the streets to organize people and build up a real movement that reflects us and who we are and what we want to see in the world, what we want to fix in the world. So we are really excited about any chance to basically get together with a whole bunch of young people who are all focused on pretty much the same thing, who all share the same values, and who are looking to make change in the world and change the way things are.
I feel like the biggest issue for me is a lack of mental health understanding and training within public school systems.
I don't think. It used to be issues of the school to prison pipeline. I felt like young people didn't realize some of the things that were happening to them on the day-to-day were connected to larger systemic issues. I feel more and more that people now get that and that they're more connected to that. But I think in general it's this idea of having a day-to-day experience and not realizing how it's connected to larger issues that are both historical, that are institutionalized and part of larger systems.
I don't think it's an issue per se, just more a process. I think that a lot of young people don't realize how powerful their voice could be. And how important it is to show up at events like this, to talk to the media and to talk to people in their communities, and how powerful that can actually be when you show up and you make your opinion heard. Obviously the people here today have heard that and they're here and they're participating, but telling that to their peers, their friends at school, and just making sure that you're showing up and telling people what your experiences are and what you think.
I would say one issue that I think, and it's not just youth, a lot of people aren't aware of, but it's campaign finance issues, because the way that corporate money is donated to politicians and campaigns influences laws in every way there is. You know, it influences stand your ground laws, it influences drug sentencing, it influences education policy. So really understanding how corporate money and big money influences pretty much all of the policies that we have.
I hope that it inspires people to action, that people who were upset by things that were happening in their day-to-day experience realize they're not alone in being upset by it, and then also feel empowered that they can do something about it, that the political process is not just something for their parents or for a generation ahead of them, but they are that next generation, and they are the ones walking into it and should take ownership of their lives and the communities that they want to live in.
I hope it just acts as a bridge for younger people, because I understand that like the youngest people here are like 14 or so. So I hope it just becomes a bridge for young people to be active and be understanding of how politics affects their day-to-day lives, and so they can become a generation that's more involved.
I hope that this event will achieve, for one thing, just a greater dialogue between sort of the diverse voices throughout the state of young people. And I really think promote the fact that young people, they have a strong opinion, they have really good ideas, and to go ahead and pick this agenda, I think it'll be the first step to being able to do many great things with it.
I'm hopeful that we'll come out with a platform that reflects the interests and policy ideas of young people in the state. So that organizations around the table who are here or at the event, who maybe aren't here but are interested in hearing, can take that platform and go forward and actually work on those issues and work for change around those issues.
Follow-up is always the best way to go. People who presented, people who enjoyed it, have them, like once you have them hashtagging and tweeting about the event, you should follow up with them and ask them if they like have any ideas for similar events and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely working with the people that are here, but also then bringing it out to other organizations who couldn't be here, other young people who couldn't be here. We should keep meeting, we should keep talking, we should be organizing other folks around these issues, training them on the issues that we're talking about today, because the work's definitely not done.
I think making sure that we're continuing to have events, that we're continuing to have a dialogue, and also making sure that organizations that work on the various issues being discussed are kind of aware of the interest in it, and so that when people are doing policy, organizing, or anything else, they can really make sure that they're taking the opinions of young people into account and using that to bolster what they're working on.